Welcome to Black Love and Cinema with Manny and Jess, where we break down love and relationships through the lens of our favorite films.
I'm Mansell.
And I'm Jessica.
This week, we're diving into the 1997 film Soul Food, starring Irma P. Hall, Vanessa Williams, Vivica Fox, and Nia Long.
Soul Food is a heartfelt, multi-generational story about the Joseph family. Three sisters, their husbands, and their mother, Mama Jo, played by the beautiful Irma P. Hall. Their bond begins to unravel, however, after Mama Jo gets sick and after a series of betrayals, secret, and prideful decisions threaten to tear them apart.
Told through the eyes of Ahmad, played by Brandon Hammond, the family's oldest grandson, the film follows the eldest sister, Teri, played by Vanessa Williams, who's a successful but controlling lawyer, the middle sister, Maxine, played by Vivica A. Fox, who's the peacemaker, and the youngest sister, Bird, played by Nia Long, who's navigating a new marriage. Every Sunday, the family gathers around Mama Jo's dinner table, where it's a sacred space for laughter, arguments, and love to all coexist.
But when Mama Jo falls ill, the glue that held them together begins to dissolve. Long buried tensions surface, Teri's resentment over feeling unappreciated, Maxine's jealousy and guilt, and Bird's struggle to balance her new life as a wife and entrepreneur, married to a man with a criminal background who's struggling to find secure employment. And when Mama Jo passes away, other family issues arise, nearly destroying what's left of their family bond.
And through Ahmad's determination and the memory of Mama Jo's legacy, the Joseph family is reminded that healing takes humility, forgiveness, and a willingness to come back to the table for soul food, both literally and emotionally.
At its core, soul food isn't just about what's served for dinner. It's about what it takes to feed a family soul, honesty, grace, and the courage to forgive, even when it hurts. So before we dive in, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Since it's Thanksgiving season, what is one dish that absolutely has to be on the Thanksgiving table for it to feel complete?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I would say for me, uh, it's gonna have to be my turkey.
You and your turkey.
Oh, you had my turkey, so you're not a turkey person, but my turkey is quite exquisite.
His turkey is good. I do not like turkey like that, but he made it last year and it was absolutely delicious. Why does your turkey have to be on the table, though, baby?
Because for me, every year I want to make sure that the turkey is the centerpiece of it all and it tastes great. And there's a lot of work that goes into making it. So that's kind of my thing. That's kind of like my gift to the table. There are a few other dishes that have some wholesome memories for me, like mac and cheese and green bean casserole. Mainly, green bean casserole is a Midwest thing. So those of you that are not from around the Midwest, you may not know a whole lot about it. But the turkey, I think, being the leader, the head of the house, you get to carve the turkey. And so for me, it was a big deal to create the turkey and then carve it for everybody to enjoy. So that's kind of my thing. How about you? What's yours?
That has to be on the table.
It has to be on the table. And you have to enjoy it as well. Because I know, just so everyone knows, she makes a killer mac and cheese, but she don't eat it.
Yeah, I don't like cheese.
So what's the thing that you like to have on the table that you can enjoy?
Dressing.
Dressing. Okay.
So I'm probably one of the weirdos that likes almost anybody's dressing. Almost. And so I even like stovetop.
Okay.
So some people might be like that.
I'll sleep on stovetop. It's good.
Yes. So I like cornbread dressing and I like bread dressing.
Okay.
Or is that what you call it? Bread.
Yes.
Just regular bread.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to make it. So if there was any leftovers that I would eat without getting tired of it, it would be dressing.
Okay.
I don't have any sentimental emotions attached to it, but I just like bread. Apparently, I like carbs, like you said
There it is.
earlier.
Yeah, it's cool. And just so everybody knows, I don't know if everybody knows, but dressing and stuffing are the same thing, except for one goes in the bird and one is made outside the bird.
Yes.
So
that's where people would be like, I said I like stovetop, and everybody might be like, that's stuffing, not dressing.
Correct.
But sometimes you use stovetop in your bread dressing.
Yes.
So you like kind of blend it in because like the
herbs
and everything.
Yeah, they do have a good blend of herbs that can go in. All right.
In addition to your own ingredients, don't just be throwing stovetop in the oven thinking you're doing something. So it is funny how certain dishes kind of make the holiday, like you said, and they do carry memories, love, and sometimes tension, like who made the potato salad?
Yes. Whose greens are these? And the great debate of all Black communities, chitlins or no chitlins?
Yeah, I'm going to go with no chitlins.
I'm a chitlin person. So.
Yeah, I can't stand it. It ain't enough hot sauce. It ain't enough nothing.
But if you are going with chitlins, the secondary question is, who made them?
Right.
Who cleaned them? Because that's also the secondary question.
I've had so many people try to give me chitlins, and I'm just like, if you don't get this out of my face, because I've had them. It's not like I haven't had them. I've had them, and they are abhorrent. And I don't care who made them. Everybody telling me, I put my foot in these. Yeah, I can tell.
Tastes like your whole foot. Okay.
And I doused them in hot sauce, and I still was like, nah, I'm good.
All right. So to each their own. That's actually what I love about soul food. It's not just about food. It's about what happens when family comes together around the table, the love, the drama, the forgiveness, and the ways people keep showing up for each other around the family table, even when life gets messy.
So today, as we get ready for Thanksgiving, we are going to use soul food to talk about how families heal, how they forgive, and how they find their way back to each other one Sunday dinner at a time. So for context, the reason we're approaching it this way is because if any of y'all watch soul food, you know it's full of drama and it's a hot mess.
Yes.
And it was one of those movies that I think most Black people like this movie.
Yes, it is it's probably of the top 10 movies, it's usually in the top 5.
Yes. So anyway, we're talking about it because this movie is full of drama, and rather than do a traditional review, because we assume you've probably seen this and you might be watching it this holiday season, right, we decided to kind of dive into that drama and see how we can help people who have experienced similar things or just like to have the tea figure out how to solve these issues. And so that's what we're going to do today.
All right, let's get into this healing.
So in today's episode, we're going to use a practical framework, which was developed by a psychologist named Dr. Everett Worthington, and it's called the Reach Forgiveness Model. The aim of this is to walk through the process of forgiveness and family healing using 3 scenarios from the Joseph family. And the point of this model is to help people move from anger and resentment toward a state of peace. It is a proven model that's not only been proven in research studies, but also at the practical level, helping couples and immediate, even extended families let go of deep, entrenched emotional pain and rebuild their connection as a family.
Now, REACH is actually an acronym, and I'm going to go through each letter. R is for recall the hurt, facing what happened honestly instead of pretending it didn't hurt. E is for empathize with the offender, trying to understand where the other person was coming from, not to excuse them, but to gain perspective. A is for altruistic gift of forgiveness, offering forgiveness as a gift to yourself because holding on to bitterness only keeps you stuck. C is for commit to the forgive, making a decision whether you write it down, say it out loud, or share it with someone you trust. H is for holding on to the forgiveness, probably the hardest part because it means choosing not to reopen or reapproach the wound every time that memory comes back.
So what we love about this model is that it gives forgiveness a structure. It reminds us that forgiveness is not instant, it is a process. And if you've been through it, and I'm sure you have, you understand that forgiveness is a process. So instead of putting pressure on people to go from I'm angry to I'm over it, or I'm angry to I forgive, it helps you move through this process one step at a time.
And that's exactly why we're using it for the framework for soul food. This movie is full of love and warmth, but it's also full of betrayal, jealousy, and broken trust. Every relationship, whether it's Teri and Maxine's rivalry, Bird and Lem's marriage, Miles and Faith's affair, yeah, that's
The drama.
it shows a different part of the forgiveness process.
So as we break it down, we're going to use the Reach model to explore what real forgiveness could look like. Not the movie version that wraps up neatly over Sunday dinner and an old TV full of cash. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But the real life version that takes time, honesty, and a whole lot of grace.
We're going to focus on three core conflicts between the two sisters, Maxine and Teri, the marital betrayal of between Teri and Miles, and the crisis of trust between Bird and Lem.
All right, so let's start with Maxine and Teri. Okay, so we're going to begin with the rivalry between Maxine and Teri. This feud has layers that goes all the way back to high school when Maxine took Kenny from Teri. So if you recall in the movie, basically Kenny and
Maxine.
Teri were on a date, and Maxine was there to be a chaperone. Basically, Mama Joe didn't want no mess going down. If you know, you know. And so while she was doing that, they were just doing their own thing. And I guess Maxine was just showing off, and it caught Kenny's attention. So next thing you know, Maxine falls. Kenny goes to rescue the damsel in distress.
And the magic happens.
Leaves Teri behind. And then the magic happens. And so then immediately thereafter, we see Kenny and, well, we're left to assume that Kenny and Max are in the car making out. And then Teri walks up on it and figures this out. And then they get into this scrap. And so every time you have an interaction between Teri and Max, it's them arguing, going back and forth over it. And we're led to assume that the reason is because this started way back then, among other things that they've been going through throughout their childhood.
Right. So the first approach to this, of course, is the R. This is recalling the hurt. Teri has to acknowledge that the original betrayal, Maxine taking Kenny, is the core wound. But Maxine also has to face the fact that her constant judgment and snide comments about Teri's career and cooking are keeping that old wound open.
So as for empathy, I think Teri needs to understand that Maxine's jealousy might stem from feeling overshadowed by her career success, by Teri's career success. But at the same time, Teri's jealousy may stem from Max's marital and family success. And to add insult to injury, it's with the man that she took from her in high school. And so these sisters constantly bicker. And it always comes down to, I'm a successful lawyer, highly educated. And this one basically saying,
I'm happily married.
I got it. Yes.
Yes.
And it's this constant argument that goes back and forth. So if they were to show each other empathy, the key would be acknowledging the other person's success and that there's a bit of jealousy there. And that jealousy may just be tied to the core issue that he highlighted with recalling the hurt.
Got it. So the next step is looking at the altruistic gift of forgiveness. This is best seen in the climax when Teri drops the lawsuit over Mama Joe's house. And that's her basically saying the money and the pride for getting this done is destroying the family. And so I'm going to take that back in order to create that bridge to basically make amends with her sister.
And then the CH part, the commitment and holding on to forgiveness, are the final moments where we get to the end of the film after all these scenarios have exploded that we'll cover in the other two relationship dynamics. And we see that Ahmad has gotten everybody together. His mom and dad, well, his mom and sister, his mama is cooking soul food again with Bird.
Yes.
And then Teri shows up. And even though all these things have happened, she didn't leave. She just decided to join them. And then later on, we get to see everybody in this movie having gone through all this stuff. They all get together like they did when Mama Joe was alive to have dinner. What makes this opportunity significant is that they had been through all these things, and the assumption is that no one had been in communication in the meantime because Ahmad had to go to everybody one on one and basically manipulate them to get them to the house. And yet, even when they all got there and they all felt uncomfortable, they all decided to stay, cook, and not only that, they sat down and had dinner together. So they were committed to um, moving on from the process and to beginning process the forgiveness.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next couple, Teri and Miles. So this is the marital betrayal. This is going to be probably one of the most biggest breach of trust in the movie because it is, for one, a marriage. And on top of that, the infidelity was not just him hooking up with some random person. It was actually their cousin.
Cousin Faye.
Cousin Faye.
So if you remember the beginning of the film, everybody was having dinner with Mama Joe, and then I think Teri and Max had just got into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, here comes Faye skulking into the kitchen, and everybody is like, oh, what this heifer doing here and all this thing. Because she had a reputation of causing mess. Every time she came home, she was doing something that caused chaos, mostly for Mama Joe. And yet, contrary to what's happening at the table, everybody talking, they all bonding over drama against Faye when they were just beefing with each other. But anyway, Mama Joe warmly welcomes her into the house. So this is their cousin, and it kind of gives us some like sort of foreshadowing of what's to come.
Right.
She has a reputation of causing some problems, and then she ends up moving into Teri and Miles' home until she figured out what she's gonna do. There was no issues initially.
No.
The only issue Teri had was you need to find a job. But what's happening in the meantime is that Teri and Miles have some tension because he's trying to pursue his music career through Milestone. And then in the meantime, Teri and Miles are both successful lawyers.
Right.
And she basically shoots down his dreams, basically saying they're idiotic and he needs to focus on
becoming a more successful lawyer.
More, yeah. And the criticisms are ongoing. And every time he mentions it, she kind of belittles it. But he keeps trying. He lets her know eventually this is what I'm doing. You can like it or love it. And he keeps encouraging her to come see his shows and to just care about what he cares about. But she never does. That creates room for Faith to come in because she's aware of his music, and there's a couple of scenes where it looked like she overheard conversations between Teri and Miles.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was intentional per se, but she's connecting with Miles in that regard. She's also an artist herself. She's a dancer.
So I think you're just seeing like they have that commonality of art.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of bond over the commonality of music and art together. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty innocent at first.
Yeah, it's pretty innocent until basically Faith ends up filling that gap that Teri doesn't fill with her husband. So if y'all ever have seen any of our videos, the primary one you probably want to go watch is I Think I Love My Wife, those reviews.
Yes.
Because we get deep into basically taking ownership and accountability and responsibility for your spouse cheating. And I know it sounds crazy when you hear me say that, but I'm going to stand on that. Okay. Because my belief is even if your spouse cheating on you, your partner, you can be married or not. It is never your fault that they did it. They literally have to make a decision or a series of decisions to get to the point where they're physically or emotionally cheating on you. But I do believe with conviction that you had to own the part you had to play where they felt that it was justified to go make this decision. And so that's not to take the blame like if I was this, that, or the other, my husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend would have cheated. It's just acknowledging that there's a gap because from their perspective, something is missing and they're going to fill that need with something or someone else, be it emotional or physical. But if it's emotional, more than likely it's going to lead to physical. And so my conviction is if that happens, then you have to pause, take an objective look at your relationship and be like, how did I contribute to my partner doing this? Like, what is it they think they lack it requires you to go back and listen and recall what they said that gave you clues to this infidelity. Because if you don't do that, I think it leaves the gaps. And they're going to try to, even if you forgive them and y'all move past the infidelity, they're going to try to find a way to fill that gap somewhere else. Even if it's not cheating anymore, they might fill it with other things just to not be dealing with you. That's why the R in this case, recall the hurt, is brutal, because Teri has to take a step back and look at the full scope of not only the humiliation that she experienced by finding her husband having sex with her cousin. She walked in on it with her nephew.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, she she handled it well.
She handled it well, because our mom would have seen some things he didn't want to see, because I would have went in there.
Yeah. Yes. It,
No, I wouldn't. Because if that was you,
no, we're not going to do that.
you know what? If that was you and I saw that, I wouldn't walk in the room either. But I'd be back. I'd be back. So,
okay.
So then we get to the scenario where she basically, you know, they're at the anniversary party, another insult to injury, the anniversary party of Kenny and Max. And it gets to the point where they're having a conversation. Ultimately, you know, Teri is like, F the family. And then and that's when she puts it on blast. She said, and you know what? The family F'd my husband. And it just lets you know there's all this trauma. So not only is she recalling the hurt that she literally was exposed to with her own eyes, but she also has to acknowledge everybody knows. And it's just more trauma it's compounded trauma and drama that she got to deal with.
As for the empathy, this is incredibly hard for Teri, because now she has to look inward. Like you said earlier, she has to figure out what her role was in causing that hurt and look at it from Miles' side. But to understand that, she has to reflect her lack of support for his musical dreams, also her being a workaholic, and also just realizing they had some emotional distance. That compiled on top of having this happen with Faith, she's got to look at it from his side. She's got to see, what did I do to cause this issue?
All of those were gaps for Faith.
And
when she went to his show, Faith went up to his show. She watched it. She loved it. She affirmed it.
Yeah.
And then while they were talking and having a drink or whatever, she said she heard her song and she asked Miles to dance with her.
Ooh.
When they were at the house. She was always talking to him about his music and just basically just constantly engaging with him in that way, even with her own dreams. So there's this emotional connection that was formed as well.
So Faith ended up filling the gap of validation that Miles needed.
Yeah.
And that's
what really filled that gap.
And that's what created the seal on that vacuum. And
it didn't take much.
No.
Because he didn't really need much. But his wife wasn't giving it to him. And so so then we get to the altruistic gift of forgiveness. We know that Teri and Miles ended up getting a divorce. But even though they had gotten a divorce, we see at the end of the movie that she wasn't consumed with hatred. We have no reason to assume that Miles did still come around every once in a while, as told by Ahmad as he narrates the film. But basically, Teri kept moving on with her life, and even Faith. She was welcomed back into the family, and they all just carried on like they would. And it basically shows that even though this hurts so badly, the assumption the movie conveys that she forgave everybody involved, and they forgave each other, and they carried on like family, and didn't let this destroy them.
As for the commitment and holding on to the forgiveness, this is about Teri basically refusing to have this betrayal define her. She doesn't let the affair poison her relationship with the rest of the family, and she consciously chooses not to use Miles or Faith's mistake as a continuous ammunition, allowing everyone to move toward a more functional post-divorce reality. So in the end, she committed to the divorce, and she held on to that forgiveness. She forgave him, but she kept the divorce final in order to make sure she was committing to herself and committing to that forgiveness.
Committing to forgiveness means you are not So whether they got a divorce or not, she got a divorce, and before that, like we said earlier, the assumption was she let it all go. Faith was still involved in the family. Miles came around. She was committed to letting that go. The same thing applies even if you don't divorce or you don't break up and you decide to stay in a relationship. You have to commit to forgive. Understanding that it's going to hurt, and that's on both sides. So the offender, if they have empathy for you, they're going to be hurt for the pain they caused you. And then the one who was the recipient of the offense is naturally going to be hurt because of the infidelity. But a commitment to forgive means you own that hurt, but you also are actively working on forgiveness. That means you're actively working on taking their word. You're actively working on trusting them. You're actively working on reconciling, actively working on rebuilding that intimacy in all of its different aspects. Yeah. You know, emotional, sexual, physical, non-sexual, all those things. You're actively doing that, and because that's the only way that's going to help you rebuild so that you can finally officially get past the infidelity. So for some people, divorce after being cheated on is a sound option, and I get it. But if you are going to stay, you have to commit to forgive, because at that point, you're basically telling them, I forgive you, and the assumption is you're not going to use this against me. You're not going to weaponize this or use this as ammunition going forward. And unfortunately, people do that. They always want to get back in some form, or they think they have a hold on you, or they think they can control you. And no. So.
And that doesn't mean that if they fail to build that trust or they do something else, that you have to continue to forgive them. You just have to forgive from that moment, and you work on that and you build it. And then if something else happens, then it's a whole new set of...
No, what is something else? You gotta be clear. If they keep cheating on you.
If they keep cheating.
And you stand in a relationship, then you're an idiot.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
Because now at this point, you ain't dealing with somebody who just made a mistake. You're dealing with somebody who has a character issue.
There you go. And
they don't respect you or honor you in that relationship. I'm not about to play with you.
There you go.
So if you're gonna be cheating, first of all, I would love that. I would love you to do that.
We not talking about me, baby. We talking about them.
No, I'm letting you know.
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me know.
But it's like,
right.
If somebody cheats once, forgiveness is your prerogative.
Right.
Forgive and divorce, and forgive and reconcile.
Hold on to that forgiveness. But once it becomes,
if they keep doing it,
yeah.
Like, what are you in it for?
Lights out.
Like, be honest.
There you go.
Because at that point, is this really
time to move on?
Is this really about love? Your partner constantly cheating on you?
I agree. Let's move on.
And don't let it be your cousin either.
Oh God.
That's crazy.
The same cousin or two cousins?
Good Lord. Could you imagine? That night she could have used it if it was more than once. So the last relationship is between Bird and Lem. Now, Bird, Nia Long, and Lem is Mackay Pfeiffer.
Yes.
They were I guess we're supposed to guess they're a young couple, kind of.
Newlyweds.
They're newlyweds, but I think they're supposed to be fairly young.
Yes.
In the movie. They still live at Mama Joe's house, and they're trying to get back on their feet. And Bird is an entrepreneur. She's a cosmetologist.
Right.
And her sister, Teri, funded her salon.
Right.
And then you have Lem, who had just gotten out of prison, and he's trying to get established in
job, employment,
secure employment. And ultimately, the aim is for them to get out of Mama Joe's house and for Bird to be able to pay her sister back for funding the salon. Right. It kind of begins with Lem basically getting fired because he lied about a felony on his record. So he got terminated from that, from that job. He ends up going to Kenny, his brother-in-law,
to get some advice.
And then basically Kenny was like, bro, you cannot tell your wife you ain't got no job. And so
he's using his time that he would be normally working to go try to find another job.
Yes. So he's actively seeking employment every single day. Kenny's letting him use his car and everything to do it.
Right.
And then one day, Bird ended up finding out. Basically, she came home during the middle of the day to give leftovers to her employees. Mm-hmm. And then they heard commotion and they discovered it was Lem. So basically, he ends up telling her what happened. She got upset because he lied to her in the first place. And then after that, she took it upon herself to reach out to Samuel, her ex, who was clearly still thirsty for her, to ask him to do a favor. First of all, that's a problem. It's a problem, just period. Like, speaking as a man, why is that a problem?
Why is that a problem?
That she asked her ex, particularly
because
in general, before we even get into the other problem.
Because for one, you're not gonna overreach for me. It's like you fighting my battle. Mm-hmm. It's like you coming in and stepping in. And now it's one thing if you're like, hey, I got this opening over here. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna hook you up with this job. You yourself. It's another thing for you to go to your ex man, and be like, hey, my man needs a job. Can you hook him up? No, that's why.
Why is that a problem?
Because now you're relying on another man and not on me.
Is that like?
Go ahead.
Is that like when if you need something fixed in the house and then you call somebody to do it?
Exactly. It's like that meeting where the wife is like, hey, you ain't fixed this yet. I'm gonna call the plumber. No, I got it. It's the same thing.
Or you could be like, oh, I got Charles coming over here today for what? Oh, he's gonna fix this. She's like,
yeah, like no, right.
It's like, the same idea.
It's the exact same idea. Yeah, you can't be involving exes and because that is a attack on your manhood. Yeah.
And so then this is the other, to add insult to injury, Samuel was thirsty for her. Mm-hmm. He showed up to their wedding, was filling her all up, putting cash in her bosom, all the things.
Yes.
And it was evident he was constantly trying to get with her. The next time he came and saw her is when he presented a Cartier. Is it Cartier?
Yeah.
A Cartier bracelet.
Right.
And she took it. Girl, if you don't get your life together, she took the bracelet. And then the next time we see him with her, he always doing these flirtatious things. He's trying to get Bird back into his... Mm-hmm. He wants her back.
And he's using his wealth to basically try to coerce her.
He's flaunting his money.
To basically say, I'll take care of you.
Yeah, and she fell for it, obviously, because she reached out to him to help her husband get a job. Right. In the meantime, he's basically saying, for him, it's a quid pro quo thing.
Right.
And it also informs him, I'm assuming, as a man, it's basically saying, your man ain't you.
Yep.
So you still need me, even though you got a husband.
I'm taking care of you and your man. That's what that's saying.
Which is like, I ain't even a dude, I already know.
Right.
So the way Lem reacted, it was,
yeah.
I ain't saying it's right, but I get it. So anyway, what happened was he ended up helping Lem get a job. So Lem got a job at this manufacturing plant, and he's doing exceptionally well on this job.
And the thing is, Lem actually had skills to get the job in the first place.
Yep. Is that felony record?
But the record was what was hold him out, and he got him in through there. But it wasn't like he wasn't capable of doing the job. He actually excelled at doing the job to the point to where management liked him.
Yes. But I think back in '97, we didn't have ban the box. We didn't have all those laws yet.
Right.
And it was particularly challenging. Not to say it's not challenging anymore, but he's doing well on his job. And basically, if he was left alone, he would excel, as you said.
Right.
But then here comes Samuel. Of course he came. Why wouldn't he come?
Catches him at lunch.
Talking all this game, brother to brother type bull crap. Lem is already like, who's this at my table? Why you sitting here? I didn't ask you to sit there.
Talking about we gotta look out for each other.
Yeah, and then just like I did for you. So Lem is like, what you mean you did for me? So he mentions Bird. But he's referring to her in a sexual way, Coca-Cola bottle, and all this thing. So you can't have me one talking about you did something for me. I don't even know you because Lem thought Kenny got him the job. Mm-hmm. And then you talk about my wife in a sexual context. Yeah. Lem couldn't control himself, started beating the brakes off of Samuel. And then next thing you know, he shows up at Bird's salon, angry, slams the door, that mug shatters. And he takes her into the bathroom and basically he's like, interrogating her, basically want to know, are you effing this dude? And then she's basically saying no, and it didn't matter. And it went left, and then woo.
But she did say, I'm gonna put this out there. She said she was gonna go to dinner with him.
Which means what to Cinderella? And why you going to dinner with this fool?
Exactly.
How would you feel that in here?
It'd be a terrible conversation
Terrible conversation.
for everybody.
You talking about Howard's. You so kind. So you tell, I find out my husband went to dinner with his ex, or any female for that matter.
See, it's actually it's not a man thing. It's the same thing. Because if I have my ex hook you up with a job, yeah. See, you had the same feeling.
No, I'll be like, what the hell job she got for me?
Exactly.
Heck, you dating? What kind of money you making? Where I want you to hook me up with a job?
Well, that's all I'm saying. If any,
And if you, who is an HR professional, can't help me find a job,
exactly. So that's how ridiculous that sounds.
no. Was I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way about like a woman type thing.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Like I don't feel like it's robbing my womanhood. My main concern is why you even in contact with this heifer.
There you go.
What y'all got to talk about?
That right there.
So
that conversation will be had. Like, why is this a thing?
but you talking about going to dinner?
Going to dinner.
Dinner.
What? There's an expectation if he's taking you to dinner.
Yeah. You know what he doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that complex situation, the drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get to recall the hurt. Oh, so it gets to the point. I think this is our last relationship.
Yes.
So it gets to the point where Teri heard about Lem pushing. Well, she don't know that he pushed her. He basically thinks that it was a domestic violence situation, which technically it was.
So at first her intent was to try to handle it through family.
Yes.
But that turned out terrible.
Yes.
And that ended up getting.
Because Lem he was brandishing a weapon, but he was a felon.
Yep.
So he violated his probation and got sent back to jail, which if you want probation or parole, leads to going back to prison. So we got all that unfolding in their marriage.
Correct.
So now we have recall the hurt.
So when you're recalling the hurt, it's twofold. So Lem has to face the crushing humiliation that his wife is going to her ex for help, wounding his masculine pride. Bird has to face the consequences of her secrecy. So Lem's explosive anger, the physical push, and the domino effect that leads to his arrest.
So first of all, when we say she has to face the consequences, that's not saying like she should have been pushed into a wall.
No.
Like she deserved to be pushed into a wall or any such violence. No, that is not what this is. It's basically acknowledging. I don't know how this will ever sound right, but it's acknowledging your role in the mess. Like how these things would not have escalated if you didn't go to your ex in the first place.
Right. She has to recognize where she caused the hurt.
Yes. So it's not like I wouldn't have done this to you if you wouldn't have done this. It's really just her acknowledging this issue escalated the way it did because she handled it poorly.
And he has to understand that he should not have taken it to that far of anger.
Right. So along those lines, we have E, which gets back into the empathy. And this is where they have to meet in the middle. So he needs to empathize with Bird, understanding that even though her approach was wrong, she was doing this out of love and out of desperation. And it seemed easy to go to this man who seemed to have it all together.
Yeah.
And who seems to obviously have some level of influence where he can make things like this happen. Ultimately, Bird has to empathize with Lem's struggle to prove himself, and she needs to empathize with his struggle to try to secure employment given his situation. It's not like she wasn't aware of his prison record.
Right.
So maybe she should be more educated and informed to see where he's coming from, and also try to understand from a man's perspective why he wasn't so eager to just tell her that he didn't have no job and that he was struggling to get employment, even though we get to see him actively searching for employment.
Right.
Communicating that struggle would be challenging for him because, again, he's living in Mama Joe's house. He has a new wife, and then he sees this dude, finds out his wife is flaunting his bracelet, her ex bar, and all these other things that are going on. So she has to step back and listen to him and understand his perspective as a man.
So, what's the altruistic gift? It's simple and profound. The decision to rebuild their trust. Basically, towards the end, we find out that Bird is pregnant. And they use this as a catalyst in the movie to start to rebuild that trust between each other. Instead of prioritizing this job thing and the ex thing, they start prioritizing their future and how they're going to build their family together.
And the good news is that Lem ended up getting his job back. Why?
Yes.
Not for anybody, but because he was an exceptional worker.
There you go.
And then, they ended up rebuilding their relationship, kind of like Teri and Max and Teri and Miles. It was basically came down to, we understand what happened, we forgive, and we're moving on. That's pretty much what they did. So that gets us to the CNH again, commitment to forgiveness and holding on to forgiveness. And basically, what they needed to do, one thing they needed to do, because their whole relationship was a mess, but was to commit to communication. So instead of him going to Kenny, I understand him going to Kenny.
Yeah, because that's a man thing.
Yeah. But what he should have done was go to Bird first.
Yes.
And be like, this is what I'm dealing with. She might have been mad. Like, why are you lying on applications, everything? But that would have been his opportunity to educate her.
Yeah.
And let him know what's really going on. Put her on game so she ain't ignorant. So if he's struggling, she understands it. She has context for it. But then also just communicating other things like, I want to do these things for you and I feel some type of way because I can't. I want to get you this, but I can't do it right now. We're not in that place. I want to move out of this house. I ain't trying to live in your mama's house. I want to give my own wife a house. All these conversations, and that just helps them see, we on the same page. How we gonna get there? We gonna get there, but we need to know we on the same page, and everybody ain't out here just doing stuff.
And what's even crazier is if Bird may have communicated to Lem before she talked to the ex and said, "Hey, my ex works at this place. I'm gonna have y'all talk to each other to see if he can get you in."
Nah, I'ma have, because then you're gonna be like, why are you talking to this nigga? What if?
No, I'm saying.
Would you want to talk to him?
No, I'm saying like I'm gonna have y'all connect so that not she's talking to him, Lem. I'm gonna introduce you to him so maybe y'all can talk and figure out something. So he can choose to approach it man to man and be like, "Hey, I know that's your ex, but I'm looking for this job."
That's what I'm saying is you saying the way you're saying it. I'm gonna have you talk means she's gonna go to Samuel and say, "Hey, talk to my husband."
No.
Versus her saying to him, "Babe, maybe you should talk to him."
Right.
More than likely, I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Yes.
What would you do? I tell you, hey, go talk to my ex. He da.
Ooh.
What would you do?
I don't know. I probably wouldn't.
You wouldn't be eager to have that conversation.
No, I would not.
I don't think there's any context where you was gonna be cool with it.
No, you're right. You're right. But at least if it was communicated, he can make that decision.
Yes, to your point, the decision was his to make.
Yes.
So yes, you're right.
And he could have been like, "Yeah, no, we don't need that conversation," and then she would have known not to have that conversation with him.
Yes. Yep. So they just need to learn how to communicate. And he definitely needs to learn how to manage himself and manage that anger.
That anger.
Because we can't have no more instances. So one time it's like, well, I pushed her. I didn't do anything more than that. In what scenario is it cool for you to just push your partner? How would you feel I just walked up on you and pushed you? Even if I was angry.
Yeah, in anger, yeah, it would be an issue. Not saying that I would push back or nothing, but that showing that kind of anger is not good.
Yeah, because if you push me,
yeah, I'm going to jail.
Everybody be like, not in a good way.
Yes.
Everybody would have a fit.
Right. No,
if you push me, I would be so triggered. I'll be like all my old school rage.
Oh yeah, that's
insane self come out because it's the principle.
Right. No.
And unfortunately, I grew up witnessing domestic violence.
So yeah, that'd be a bad day.
So he needs to learn how to manage his emotions on multiple layers. Because that is not acceptable. And yeah, you can forgive somebody. We all have bad days. Mm-hmm. But we definitely don't want to act like it wasn't no big deal.
Right. He needs to handle that.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate recipe for healing. Every conflict in soul food, from the food fights to the final embrace, shows us that forgiveness isn't instant. It's a dish best served in 5 courses, following the Reach model.
reaches 5 letters, in case y'all missed that. The Joseph's family journey in soul food proves that while forgiveness may be deeply personal, it also is a collective commitment to practicing forgiveness that sustains it. If everybody is sold out on forgiving each other, then it's easier for your family to heal and move on and reestablish that bond that was cultivated from the beginning through Mother Joe in this example. And the table is the figurative place where this work gets done. And it forces them to be present with each other physically, but also be present emotionally, spiritually, so that they can connect and be reminded about the love that they share and realizing that ultimately it's worth the effort.
All right.
So we have our ratings. And if you've ever watched any of our videos before, you know we had a whole bunch of ratings that we used. But this time we decided to streamline them. And hopefully they made more sense to you and you like them. So did we believe the love? Would we want this relationship? Does it represent us as in Black folk? Did it make us feel something? And would we watch it again? Are the things that we're going to rate. So, babe, did we believe the love?
As far as the movie's concerned, did we believe the love, the romance, the feels? I would say it's a little over dramatic, but it was spot on as far as I believed how things could unfold for people. It was very real.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think I could believe the relationship dynamics, in that basic sense, how it all played out. But as far as the romance, I think the best romance we got was between Kenny and Max.
Yes.
And that is believable.
Yes.
Their entire relationship and dynamic was believable and totally relatable to just regular families.
Yes, it was. We're gonna rate this. Do we believe in the love? I would say I would give it 4 hearts.
4 hearts?
Yeah.
Just based off of Kenny and
just because of the realism of it. Even the bad stuff is believable. Except for, it's extreme, but it's believable. People go through that kind of trauma, so and that kind of chemistry, it is believable.
Okay. So the next one is, will we want this relationships? Are the dynamics healthy, respectful, communicative? What are the red flags we notice? And will we tell our friends to pursue something like this? No. If we only focused on Kenny and Max. Yes. The way it started, I don't know. Give them some grace because it was high school.
They were kids.
And we assume it wasn't that deep.
Right.
But it's the principle.
Right.
But if there was a relationship dynamic, then yes, then, because they celebrated 11 years and they seem to still be bonded and connected and really be into each other. So
that relationship,
in that regard, yes.
The rest of them, no. Absolutely not.
Not at all. So for them, again, maybe 5 hearts.
Yeah. Everyone else, 0.
Yeah.
I don't want none of that smoke.
Nah, I'm good. Does it represent us regarding Black love and cultural authenticity?
So there's 2 folds to this. I'm going to start with the first one that says it does not, based on the representation of the food we saw in that movie.
Baby. So he's going off of the cultural authenticity.
Yes.
If you've seen this before and you saw it back in the day, you probably looked at that spread and was like, oh, that looked good. We watched this a few days ago and we was like, what the? Did y'all season anything?
The food, we understand it's a movie and there's props and you got to do things a certain way, but none of it looked like real soul food.
It did not look good. The best looking thing was the catfish.
Yes.
The cornbread just looked like cornbread.
Right.
Literally, it was like them greens was, first of all, too bright. Was they even cooked? They did not look seasoned at all. Them black eyed peas was like, we didn't even know what they was.
We had to figure that out. So as far as that side, if you guys are watching this again, go look at pay attention to the food and then give your best comment on what you think about food. And maybe that's just how it was done because it's a Chicago area. I doubt it, but my folks from Chicago, I'm not trying to come at you, but just take a look at that food and just realize that it's movie props. Not
Chicago is Midwest, ain't it?
Yeah, it is Midwest, which I expect better. Exactly. So I expect better.
But as far as the cultural authenticity as well.
Yes.
The soundtrack, you can't listen to this and not jam. This,
Yes.
the music is cold with it.
Yes.
Even the band, you said it was made up for the film. Milestone,
Yes.
cold with it.
Yes. All of it was
Casey and
definitely
JoJo, the Evans brothers.
Yeah.
Psh,
It was beautiful. And then you had, of course, Boys to Men with the
yes.
Dear Mama song,
Yes.
the Mama song. So it's, yeah, all of that definitely represents the culture.
But unfortunately, I think, depending on your family, I think the way it was presented is accurate for Black families.
Yes.
Although you may argue that a lot of Black families do not resolve and forgive that way.
Yeah.
So
They hold on to that.
they hold on to it. And they may not have been able to reconcile because of that.
Right.
So as far as the cultural authenticity of it, I'm going to give it 4 stars.
Yes.
And that's me leaning literally into the cultural aspect, like music,
Yes.
and like general family dynamics,
Correct.
and things like that.
Yeah. And they only lost that 1 star because of the food, the props.
Yeah, that looked weird.
So movie makers, make sure you got your props on deck. When you create a movie called Soul Food, your soul food needs to look like
It
soul
needs to
food.
be soulless.
All right.
Did it make us feel something, give us the feels? Yeah,
It was all emotions all over the place.
just the drama. Definitely.
Which is why we watch movies. So yes, definitely.
And will we watch it again? I think it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
And I think from what I've discovered, there's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies that we do, which is weird because we have all the soul food, but one soul food movie. So
And it wasn't even about Thanksgiving, it was about Sunday dinner.
right. So if you know, and I think they had one Thanksgiving in there. If you know another movie where they showcase Thanksgiving, please let us know so we can watch it and we can review that as well.
So as far as watching it again, how many stars?
I would probably give it a 5
I give it 5 too.
because it's probably
It's like
an annual
you
thing.
have to watch soul food.
Right.
It's kind of weird if you don't.
Right. You might actually have it on while you're making your Thanksgiving Day food.
Yeah, you can't say that and let the camera go. So say
Okay.
it again.
So you might actually have soul food on while you make Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. So that's all for Black Love and Sentiment today. We hope you enjoyed this and happy Thanksgiving. God bless.